And yes, we are back. Shout outs to us for making it back. You, me, all of us, especially you, but especially me too, especially all of us. And we're gonna actually look at this Blue Protocol Honest first impressions. I think it's actually more entertaining to look at other people's first impressions to save myself time and energy because, bro, what did I say? What was it? I don't know which video it was. When I said games just lack innovation and that's why they're going to keep failing, it was one of the videos where someone was complaining about is gaming dead. I was probably a little positive in that video, bro. The innovation is just not here. And I'm pretty sure, and if you don't know what Blue Protocol is, it's like this hyped up MMO, new MMO that's supposed to come out. Bro, these games run into the same problem. They are not innovating. They don't take, like, just take what. Never mind. You'll see. Well, we're not going to judge it. I haven't played it, but I was going to play it if it was good, if it was fun, something. Because I just like playing something that's fun. It doesn't even have to be amazing, as long as it's fun and innovative. Why would I play an MMO when they all play the same? Level 1, level 5, level 10, level 20, level 30. Skills, skills, skill. If it's not fun, new, like, I don't understand, bro. If it's the same skills you've seen in these anime type games, like, bro, the last time, it's like, how can you have Dragon S? Do you remember Dragon S, bro? How can you have a game like Dragon S that released like 12 years ago and no game, in my opinion, has like even in that type of like that, that open worldish kind of environment has even come close to like building on that. Maybe graphics wise, yeah, but Dragon S was like the last good like open world little a game that just like was something new. It was fun. It was different. Raids felt good. Like it was just so good, bro. They had big bosses. They had really big fights. They had like raids, all guilds, all the things you would want in a game. That game was like at least 15 plus years old. Maybe not 15, but like 10 plus years old. Like get real, man.
Protocol has some insane
I mean, like, and this looks good, but it's like the combat, the loop, like that was the last game that combat felt like really amazing. Is what I mean. Like the combos felt so good. PVE, PvP felt so good, bro. And yet, how?
insanely massive gameplay problem, and unless Bandai Namco decide to address some of these, Blue Protocol is honestly just
This honestly looks like Dragon Nest. Like,
and unless Bandai Namco decide to address some of these, Blue Protocol is honestly just not in the greatest state right now. Many Japanese players are currently complaining about the exact same issues that I have also experienced in the endgame of Blue Protocol network test, with even this Japanese article saying
tired
that
of
they
goblin
currently
hunting.
do not recommend playing Blue Protocol in its current state. In fact, you can already observe one of the first issues on the screen right now. This game is very terribly optimized, especially in town. I'm currently running a 2070 Super, and I'm getting a whopping 10 FPS no matter
Whopping.
where I go. This is only one of the major problems that we'll uncover in
whopping.
today's video. Hey, I'm Tenten, and this is a very honest review of Blue Protocol network test after playing it for a long period of time. As a RPG, Blue Protocol felt a lot more like Monster Hunter compared to traditional RPG like Final Fantasy XIV Online or Lost Ark. The main gear progression in the game involved
And and my thing is, there's nothing wrong with Monster Hunter, but Monster Hunter has its own genre for people who like Monster Hunter. If you have an MMO, bro, why would you want it to be like Monster Hunter? Like, people who play Monster Hunter play for that reason. They don't play MMOs to play like it's Monster Hunter, in my opinion. I don't know.
having you collecting rare material either through monsters, boss drop in the dungeons, or open world harvesting to get those rare material, and then you can craft the next level of weapon or item to advance your characters. Combat in Blue Protocol is rather straightforward. Every single class comes with a normal attack, which is your left click, an identity skill, which is your right click, and finally an ultimate ability. In addition to that, you can choose 4 skills to equip at any given moment, in addition to 2 summon, also known as Imagi, to accompany you in combat, for a total of 6 ability plus an ultimate, and then your normal attack and your identity. In addition to that, you can also perform a dodge action by using the control button on your keyboard. That will perform your dodge roll, which as far as I know is an iframe. My main complaint when it comes down to Brute Protocol combat is that for the majority of the time, you're just going to be spamming your normal attack.
I was literally gonna say, bro, and like back to what I said about Dragon S, how is there a 10-year gap between these two games and it looks like they're doing the same thing? The environment, it doesn't even look like, come on, bro. And I'm not judging Blue Protocol, I'm just saying, where's the innovation? If anything, you can probably boil everything down to this game that there's no innovation. And connective, like the lack of optimization is pretty bad too.
Your 4 ability doesn't
Apparently.
really have the sense of rotation or combo. They don't really tie into each other in any meaningful way, so you kind of just toss them out whenever they're off cooldown. But on top of just having low interactive skills and the fact that you only have 4 skills, some of these skills just have really long cooldown. Some of the skills in the game have 55-second cooldown, your summon or your Imagi generally have a minute to a minute 30-second cooldown, and finally your ultimate ability have a 200-second cooldown. The end result is that you're just going to be spamming normal attack majority of the time. How much skill expansion is there? Right there yet? Nope. To be fair though, I was probably playing the lowest effort class in the game. If you're playing something like Mage, then you actually have a energy meter that you have to manage, plus Mages is a lot more spammable, and if you're playing a melee class in a higher level dungeon, then you have to involve a lot more by watching the enemy attack and start dodging. There's also an elemental damage system in the game which you can observe under the boss HP bar, which is currently infected with the Earth status. When you eventually fill up the entire bar, the boss will get staggered, which allows you to get free DPS. As far as I know, there's no elemental reaction system in Blue Protocol unlike games like Genshin Impact, and it's mostly primarily only used for debuffing the bosses. For what it's worth though, you can change your class at any time on the same character in Brute Protocol by equipping the corresponding weapon for that class. You have to level each class separately, similar to Final Fantasy XIV, but it is possible to play every single class on the same character.
That's a good plus.
If you ever get bored of one class, you could always look to switch to a different class and try.
I would say stuff like that is good innovation because, in my opinion, you have to, like, when you release a game, you do have to think about time, I guess, like what era of time you're in. And it is 2023. No one really wants to make alts. No one really wants to make other characters and or other accounts. People want to play on that one character and they probably want to min-max and play as much as they want to without having to log in as much, So I think that is good innovation, but the combat is why people play these type of games, and the loop, and like there's like the 3 pinnacles. Combat is one pinnacle, and I feel like you can make interesting combat, but you have to like try.
Try it out.
You have to be trying.
Regardless, having low involvement in combat is one of the biggest complaints I've seen on the Japanese player side, since you only get 4 ability with some having a really long cooldown regardless of what class you're playing or what dungeon you're doing. But we have a much bigger problem to uncover with Brute Protocol, the gear progression system. The gear system in Brute Protocol involve your primary weapon and then 2 summons that you can use in battle, also known as Imagi, and then finally 5 insignia, which is your armor slot. Each of these items will contribute to your battle score, which is how you progress in the game.
I feel like games with battle score also often aren't good MMOs, because if there's a battle score, excuse me, if there's a battle score, that means there's requirements. So that means you need certain battle scores to progress through certain parts of the game. And I feel like that's just not the way. I feel like, honestly, if you want that, you should do levels or DPS checks. And you shouldn't gate, DPS behind certain gear. But if your character just doesn't do enough damage, then you have to go get better gear. I think that would make more sense. And by doing that, you can actually lower the cooldown on some of the skills, so give the player more time to actually play the game. These cooldowns are pretty long. I don't like a 200-second ultimate is pretty whack. even if there's like no cooldown reduction, which I would hope there is, but I lose out on other stuff. That's
If
too
you
long
play
though.
Blue Protocol normally by following the main story quest, within the first 2 hours of your gameplay, eventually you're gonna hit this church, which is your first major progression wall. When you first unlock the church dungeon by following the main story quest, it is very likely that you'll be at level 6 or level 7 with maybe 200 battle score, but the church dungeon demands you to be level 12-ish as well as a 700 battle score, which is
Dang.
a extreme jump from where you are at the main story quest with no clear indication of how to actually progress your gear to that point of the game. In my personal opinion, this will be the biggest cause of Blue Protocol failure, is because many players would drop out of the game at this point since the gear progression wall is just way too huge, even within the first 2 hours of the game.
Dang.
Fortunately, when the game
2 hours in the game, you hit a progression. What? I mean, it can work out if getting the progression, if getting the gear is fun. But that depends on the game. For Dragoness, you just clear out different dungeons, but the dungeons had difficulties, and the difficulties basically ramped up the mob sizes and the bosses. And higher difficulties gave better loot, and it was kind of more fun. It was like a test of skill, also. So, but getting skills in Dragoness felt good. Like every 2 or 3 levels, you got a skill, and then your skills had EX versions of themselves. I think that was really important too. In EX versions, some of the skills were just crazy. And certain builds, you could just leverage all your points into certain skills and just like, dude, it's okay, whatever.
game eventually do get
Okay.
released on America, I
It's
will be
okay.
making videos and guide on how to get past some of these major barriers. So if you're new here and you're enjoying the video, consider subscribing to not miss out on future video, and maybe also leave a like for the YouTube algorithm as well. Let's
got
start
you, my
off
boy.
with leveling your own
I got you.
character.
I got you.
Leveling your character in this game is extremely slow. Side quests are really tedious, but doesn't give a lot of EXP. Dungeon run can net you a okay amount of EXP, but they're extremely long. So what is the most efficient way to get EXP? Hunting groups. You're gonna acquire majority of your EXP simply by killing monsters.
And so this is for like min-maxers. I personally would not care about this. It's that the other activities are fun. Now, it does suck to hear that there's a gate. I'm not gonna lie, that probably would turn me off. I don't know. Again, if the game is fun, it's fine. But if the game is not fun, it's just. But I played Arcade, bro. There's so many ways to hit level 50 in Arcade that you don't even have to touch the story. I thought that was so smart. Like you don't even have to touch the story, the main story quest to get gear. You can go roleplay in a city that you shouldn't even be in if you really want to. I don't know how you would get there, and you can actually walk there because it's all connected to one land, so you could actually walk there if you really wanted to. I thought that was so smart. But to know I would just like hit a wall eventually would just suck.
And one of the most efficient way to do that is to simply find a hunting spot where there's really good mob spawn, and you just basically kill everything on site. You only have to hit the mob once in order to get credit, which give you the drop as well as EXP. So often you'll find a bunch of players sitting at really popular spot fighting over monsters and just killing everything on site. In comparison, quests in this game feel extremely unrewarding and tedious. You often find
Unrewarding
multiple
and
quests that
tedious.
ask you for the exact same thing, such as killing 20 enemy or collecting 20 flower in this zone. I can literally find 3 to 4 quests that's asking for the exact same thing, and you feel like you're doing the same shit again. This one, collect 30 material from this place. And then the next quest come back and ask, hey, can you collect 10 more at the exact same places, exact same shit, and you collect 10 more. Here, 30 more. And you can see how this one I haven't done yet, because I already collected like 40, 50. Yeah, I already collected like 40, 50. And then
That
this
ain't it,
quest
bro.
call, I'm like, hey, can you actually do the exact same shit you just did again? Go back to the same place, do the exact same thing, collect 30 more from me. And you have to
that
do it
ain't
because
it.
this gives you the
That
recipe
ain't
for
it. That ain't it.
for whatever this insignia is. This water bottle, the world outside insignia. Right, and it just feels really chorly. It feels really chorly. But leveling is actually the easy part of the progression. Obtaining new gear that will increase your battle score is the real difficulty when it comes down to the game. Obtaining rare material and crafting newer and better gear is the way you progress your gear in Brute Protocol, and these could be extremely tedious to get. Some of these rare material might come from few bosses that spawn after.
To fix this situation, if they just literally lower the gate and up the rates on some of this, it would probably fix itself naturally. I think that would just be an easy fix if people are still liking the game. So if they just like lower the recommendation by like 30-40% and then up the rare drop rates and stuff by like 20%, I feel like that might fix it.
After a certain amount of random interval, and you just gotta be there when it does spawn. And
someone in his chat said Lost Ark is the most recent MMO people have played. That's a good point too, because people have already played something that's new, hip, that's actually pretty, that innovated a lot of people's needs and wants, curated to a lot of people's needs and wants. They're gonna come to this game expecting something, some kind of standard around there. But if the game starts off down here, it's hard for it to get any legs. It's gonna be the problem. But I don't know. I feel like MMOs be missing, bro.
Hope there are a lot of people
Because
there as well to
it just doesn't look fun.
because they do take a long
Even
time
if you
to
are
kill.
Archer.
At a time, it would just ask for rare material that drop from regular monsters. In this case, on the screen, I'm looking for free Goblin's Hair. These material have extremely low drop rate, which is again why you see hunting group just going around and hitting every single monsters, because everybody is looking for these kind of rare material, and of course you need multiple of them. These drop are actually by name as well, meaning that you have to hit the right goblin at the right place to get the right drop. Other goblin, such as Elderly Goblin, which is the red goblin on the screen, does not actually count. It drops a different material and it doesn't contribute to whatever you're crafting. At the very least, when you're hunting for a rare monster drop, you're still somewhat playing the game and you're still getting EXP, so you're progressing in some kind of way. The main problem of Brute Protocol is the harvesting RNG. Other than asking for rare material from either bosses or few monsters, it could also ask for rare material from pure harvesting. And the way you get these rare harvesting material is simply by running across the entire map, collecting every single node you see across, and praying at every single one of them that it is gonna drop the one you need, with, and again, an extremely low drop chance. You see all these nodes in front of me, right? These are like resource harvest spot. And
again, this could be fun if they made the traveling at least like fun. Like if the mount system was like, it was fun to travel from place to node, or they just up the rates, and by like next week it could work.
And basically, like, you just have to go through each one of them and harvest every single one of them, and each one of them has like a 1% chance of being the grass you need, and then you need like 10 of them. So you end up just running around the entire map gathering grass. That is the entire game of Brute Protocol, bro. The low drop rate on rare material is by far the #1 biggest complaint when it comes down to the Brute Protocol network test, especially considering that these nodes are really spread apart.
Or if you could gain mastery and it's easy to like level up, like RuneScape type, and then you just gain up more mastery and there's more drop rate, and it actually feels like impactful. And remove the cap from the material, gain mastery, make it feel satisfying. I think Arcade had this too. When you just gather enough, you gain mastery. So when you keep doing it, it's actually better than the other person who's doing the same thing. You just yield more. So if they could do something like that, that would be an easy fix. But in my opinion, that just goes to show they have lack of innovation. Because if other games already have this, that did it several years ago, why doesn't your game?
And they respawn really slowly, making your entire experience just running across the entire map and collecting grass. Because of the way the gear progression work in this game, it is almost mandatory that you do this and just start collecting grass at some point of the game. This is because in order for you to vertically advance your character, you must first advance your character horizontally. In order for you to obtain the next tier of weapon in the game, you have to craft it. Say for example, the level 10 thunder weapon, you have to obtain a bunch of rare material through the same process, but most importantly, beat the corresponding dungeon, in this case the 270 battle score dungeon, to obtain the boss material drop. But in order for you to get from 200 battle score to 270 battle score, you have to advance your character horizontally by improving your Imagi or improving your insignia. The game kind of guides you through how to obtain each one of them through the adventure book, and by completing the adventure book, it is most likely that you have the material to craft the next level of the insignia or even give you the recipe. But again, each one of these quests are
So they kind of did it on purpose, because if they want you to do the book, that's what they had that planned. So it's not that the rates are terrible. They just want you. That's just part of their development. That's kind of different. If they want you to go through the book, I guess, but it's kind of restricting.
extremely tedious and involve asking you to, say, collect a bunch of rare material, and you end up just going around and harvesting and doing the exact same thing over and over. Overall, it feels like you're just doing a bunch of meaningless shit, especially with how low the drop rate is, to have a chance to progress your character. Keep in mind that until you get the next weapon, your character doesn't really do more damage, so you might be fighting harder and harder enemy to get those rare drop, but your character doesn't do more damage to help you kill them. I'll make a separate video diving deeper into the huge progression wall problem with Brute Protocol, but
720.
in my very honest personal opinion, this, combined with the fact that you're just grinding against low drop rate, will be the #1 cause of Brute Protocol failing ultimately. I honestly think Brute Protocol would be a game with really high potential. The world looked really amazing, the aesthetic looked really cool, and the end game, while it is simple, does get the job done. It'll be a really cool friend to play with your friends. And I still plan on making content on this game in the future, so again, stay tuned. Alright, hold on. Future me here. As I was approaching the end of editing this video, looked like the director has already made comment about some of these issues that I talked about in this video, and of course many player feedback as well. So that's how you know it was legit. Many player was complaining the same thing that I was complaining in this video, right? So noticeably here he say, personally, I definitely want to improve the adventure board, which is really repetitive, the drop rate, which is one of the biggest complaint I have throughout the video, and the gathering aspect of Brute Protocol, or like to call touch grass aspect. So now you know that every single thing that I complained about was legit and it was definitely a issues. But unfortunately, they're looking to address it.
No, big props to them for like addressing it. I think that kind of makes up for all of it, in my opinion. If they're willing to at least address the problems, and people will still like the game they're gonna play, that's actually not terrible. I wouldn't even say that's not bad. I still believe there should be just a certain level of innovation and quality of life, but if they're willing to legitimately address these issues, bro, props to them. And that means the game actually has more potential than most MMOs.
Originally, I was gonna make a segment here about how if they don't address it, then Brute Protocol will fail because people don't really like that amount of grind. But it looked like they're already looking into it, so maybe we're safe. Anyway, yeah. This video only briefly covered the problem with the progression system as well as the combat system, and doesn't really show a lot of the other stuff that Brute Protocol has to offer. And so if you'd like me to showcase those as well, let me know it in the comment below. But I feel like this is definitely one of the biggest and the most important things to talk
you got
about.
the wrong jacket.
These are things that nobody else has been talking about, as you don't really observe these in the trailers or in the gameplay footage that they provide to you and stuff like that. So yeah,
that's not
that is pretty much it for this video. And as always, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all next time.
You got the wrong jacket. Shame. Well, good that the developers are serious about the game. I think that's all that really matters. As far as the combat goes, not impressed. I like high APM. Like, I like to have short cooldowns and just manage my resources and, expunge my skills how I see fit. That's why I like League. But League has a lot of criticism. Rightfully so. Because Riot... Let's not get into that. But at least League is a fast-paced game. Regardless of what you say, how you want to play. At least as of right now, it's a very fast-paced game. A coin flippy fast-paced game, but it's still very fast-paced. And I think that is what appeals to a lot of people, but that's neither here nor there. Interesting perspective, but not anything. I don't know. Whatever, bro. Like I said, if people enjoy the game, they're willing to work with the people who are going to play their product. That's good. That's a good sign. But the combat, I would say they need some EX skills, bro. And they need more than that, in my opinion. Like, I don't know. The game is not fully out yet, and I don't think that's their in game, so I won't judge it from that. But the combat didn't wow me. I'll say that. So yeah, that's the video. Blue Protocol, and still waiting for Diablo. So then we don't have to worry as long as Diablo's gonna still release for good. And yeah, that's the video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys watching. You know the motto. Tell someone you appreciate them, because I appreciate you guys. Tell someone you love them, because it's good to share that message. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.